Okay, so I have put something up on Canvas, I think. It's the plan anyway. And it is this little sample right here. Now, I chose this sample. So the idea of what we're going to do is we're going to chop up a sample, get it on our keyboard, and trigger it in a pattern that we like. I chose this because it is just an E piano playing some chords and a couple notes here and there. Give it a listen. I have no real idea of the tempo. I don't think it's not a measure. It's not it's not really played on beat, but it's got clear delineation of those chords. You can hear, where the first one plays, the second one, etc., etc. So that's that. It's called ePiano. I'm not going to export it. You're going to download it, get it into Kontakt. So I have my Kontakt loaded up, and I'm in my sample practice session. I'm just going to listen to the drums, the original drum beat. Sounds like this from Skull Snaps. So I am filled up in my Kontakt, so I am just going to start a new one for this exercise. In my samples folder, I have my ePiano. I'm going to drag it over, okay? So, looking at the wave editor, you can see where each chord or note plays. These are transients. You can see where the notes engage and the amplitude or the volume goes up. So what we're going to do is come down to, I'm not going to worry about Time Machine because this is not something that needs to play in time per se. I'm going to just throw it on for good measure. I'm going to turn on the grid. And by turning on the grid, what it does is it says I'm going to cut up this sample based on the grid values, the musical note value that you're giving me, which is right now 16th notes. I can set it to eighths. I can set it to quarter notes. This is making the assumption that this is a measure long being played at 72.13 BPM. I don't want that because I don't think it's accurate. I'm going to click on Auto. And I'm going to come to this slider here, which is a sensitivity slider. And as I bring it up to the right, you start to see these markers kind of fall into place based on Kontakt sensing the transients. Is it doing a perfect job? No, it is not. But this is a good starting point. I don't like how it cut this little introductory part into 3 pieces. This is in the middle of a note. This is in the middle of a note. So I can do I'm going to do a couple things. So I'm going to come over here to this one, and I'm going to click and drag it to the left because it looks to me like this is the beginning of a note or a chord. I'm going to come and click on the minus sign over here, which is going to allow me to click on this one as it turns white, and then I click and it gets deleted because it's right in the middle, and that doesn't do me any favors. I don't like that one, so I'm going to click on that and get rid of it. Now that looks pretty good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I end up with 8 pieces. They're not eighth notes per se, but just so happens that I end up with 8 of them. I'm going to click on the mapping editor. I'm going to narrow the range of the original sample. Could get rid of it entirely. And I'm going to click on that button that just said drag MIDI to host. So you can drag it, but if you click on it, it should work too. It did for me. I'm going to click across and drag and select these all and move them over just so I can have them in a better spot for me, which is starting on C3. C1 for me. Really doesn't matter. So now what you end up with is the individual pieces on your keyboard. To me, this is really important that you do this with a MIDI keyboard, because you can kind of be inspired rhythmically and in terms of the order that you're going to play these notes in. So my MIDI keyboard is plugged in. I put the track into record enable that I want to record on, and I think what I'm going to do, I don't even know, but here we go. Three, four. All right, so I have a new pattern. I hit a couple of those early or late. This one was early. I kind of like being a little bit early, but that one was way early. All right, and that's basically chopping samples. Again, the basic idea is that you end up with your chops across your keyboard, and you can try new things.